Assalamualaikum. My name is Widi Mutakin from Expos Academy. In this lesson video, we will discuss how to select objects and different modes and settings around object selection. In 3ds Max, to select an object, you need to be in one of these modes: the Select Object mode, Move mode, Rotate mode, or Scale mode. If you are in one of these modes, simply click on an object and that object will become selected. To deselect all objects, you can click on an empty space in the viewport, or you can also use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl-D. If you forget the shortcut, you can always go to the Edit menu and look at this area. Notice you can find the Select None option in here with Ctrl-D as the shortcut. And from this menu, you can also see that we can select all objects in the scene by using Ctrl-A. And we can invert the selection by using Ctrl-I shortcut. All of these shortcuts will be useful for us later, especially when we are in the modeling process. If we have an object selected and we want to select more objects, we can use the Ctrl key. So for example, we can click this object to select it. Then to select this object also, hold Ctrl and click on it. Now we have these two objects selected. You can keep holding the Ctrl button and keep clicking to select more objects. If you want to deselect a certain object out from the selection, you can use the Alt key. So for example, hold Alt and then click on this object. Notice how this object now is not selected anymore. So again, use the Ctrl modifier key to add more selection and use the Alt modifier key to reduce the selection. Okay? To select multiple objects at once, you can use the click-drag method like this. Notice how it creates a rectangular selection region. Every object within the region will be selected when we release the mouse. You can use this technique with the combination of the Ctrl and Alt modifier keys. For example, if you want to add these objects to the selection, you can hold Ctrl and then click-drag like so. Now they are all become selected. If you want to deselect them, hold Alt and then click-drag like so. Now we can see these objects are no longer selected. When doing region selection, there is one important setting that you need to know. In the main toolbar, you can see this button. This button is useful for toggling between window mode and crossing mode. So what is the difference between the two? Well, in crossing mode, when we click-drag to create a region selection, every object inside the region plus the objects that are touched by the region border will get selected. But in window mode, only objects that are truly inside the region will be selected. Objects that are crossed or just partly inside the selection region will not get selected. The shortcut for this toggle button is Shift-O. Until now, you might be wondering, is 3ds Max only support the rectangular selection region? Well, the answer is no. To change the selection region behavior, you can click and hold on this button here. We can see there are also circle selection, polygonal selection, lasso, and plane selection mode. If you want to cycle through these selection modes using the keyboard shortcut, you can use the Q letter key. Now, if you set this to the circular mode, when we click-drag to select multiple objects, we can see the region is now a circle rather than a rectangular like before. Next is the polygonal mode, or officially named the Advanced Region mode in 3ds Max. This one behaves like the polygonal lasso tool in Photoshop. To use this mode, you need to click-drag first, and then do a series of click releases. To finish up a selection, you need to double-click the mouse. The next one is the lasso region mode. If this is active, to create a selection region, you simply click and drag to draw the region. When you release the mouse, the selection will be created. Finally, the last one is the plane selection mode. The selection mode works like a paintbrush. So if you click and drag to move the cursor around across the viewport like this, notice that every object that is touched by the cursor will get selected. Now, before I end this lesson, you need to understand that all of these different selection modes can be combined with the Ctrl and Alt modifier keys. Just for example, if I have the plane selection mode active and I hold the Alt key while performing the selection, I am actually deselecting the objects. If I hold the control key, I am adding more objects into the selection. I believe you already understand the concept by now and should be able to apply this to the other selection modes. If you are new to 3ds Max or even never used 3D software before, and you want to start learning and mastering 3D modeling using 3ds Max in the quickest way possible, you definitely need to take this course. You will be guided to model all these 3D objects from start to finish, while at the same time learn important concepts in 3D graphics step by step along the way. There are more than 9 hours of quality educational content in this course. So join the course now through the link I provided below. As always, subscribe to my channel, share the video, give a thumbs up if you like the video, and give a thumbs down if you hate the video. Please check out the next part of this tutorial or any other tutorials on my channel. Wassalamualaikum.